Hello, everyone. My name is Angel Ponce. I am a wheelchair user, and I have been disabled for over 20 years. I became disabled because of a car wreck, and so I have a spinal cord injury at an injury level of T12 incomplete. So technically, I don't walk. I use a wheelchair to move from space to space. And maybe I'll walk one day. But at the moment, I am a wheelchair user. And I think I'm going to be like that for quite some time. I am also the director of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities here in Houston, and I also serve on the Metro Board of Directors and also on the Disability Rights Texas Board of Directors. And so, as you can imagine, I stay pretty busy. Following my injury, I quickly learned the challenges that people with disabilities experience here in the Houston metropolitan area. And as a result, I have devoted myself to serving as an advocate for the rights and the needs of people living with disabilities in the Houston metropolitan area, and as well around the nation. So, um, so who are we? Um, so, uh, we are the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, and as director, one of our missions is to serve as the lead advocate for the rights and needs of Houstonians living with disabilities. Houston is one of the big cities that has an office focused on protecting these rights and these needs. And so uh, we are one of a kind here in the nation. We serve over 215,000 persons living with disabilities in the Houston area. And this number is not totally accurate, but we believe that in the greater Houston area, so the smaller towns around the Houston area, like Sugarland and the Woodlands and Tomball and all those Katy area, we think that there are at least over 1 million people living with disabilities. This office was established in 1993, shortly after the Americans with Disabilities Act. And we work closely with the mayor. Um, can any of you guess who our mayor is? I'll give you a few seconds. That's right, Mayor John Whitmire. And we also work with city council members and their staff, and also department directors and managers to address issues that affect the disability community. Right now, we are a team of 7 people, and together we ensure to provide trainings and awareness programs. We make recommendations on existing infrastructure and making infrastructure um, accessible for people with disabilities. What is infrastructure? Well, infrastructure is the work that is done to create sidewalks, to create streets, to create buildings, things of that nature. And then we also work with our communications counterparts around the city to ensure that communications are accessible to everyone. So this means ensuring that the mayor's press conferences have American Sign Language interpreters, or when we're holding public meetings, that there are captionings available for those people that don't understand American Sign Language, but may be deaf or may be um, uh, low of hearing and or hard of hearing and cannot read people's lips, right? And so that text, that captioning comes in handy. And then we also have an information and referral service program of dedicated caseworkers that work with the community to ensure that we are providing information to those people that need it. We also work closely with our Houston Commission on Disabilities. The commission, I'll talk a little bit more about shortly, but they are one of our lead advocates in the Houston area, ensuring that people are receiving the services and having access to programs. Both my team and I understand the importance of creating greater access to employment opportunities for people living with disabilities. We all understand that it promotes equality. We understand that it allows people to contribute their skills in the workforce, and it fosters social inclusion, and it enhances their economic independence. In May of 2024, in partnership with Workforce Solutions VR and with the support of the University of Houston, go Cougs, I see you over there, we were able to put together an inclusive hiring event at the university. And we were able to bring together over 75 plus employers and over 500 job seekers from around the greater Houston area. In the same way, I'm working with my team to also develop an employment clinic at an accessible location here in Houston to provide individuals with access to technology to help them find meaningful job opportunities. And in partnership with other agencies, we are also planning a job readiness training, like providing interview skills and resume preparation to those job seekers with disabilities in the area. Through my time as a public servant, I learned that change does not come by chance. It is an effort that needs a body of people that are committed, excuse me, and that are passionate about creating long lasting change. That's why I'm so proud of my team and the team that I've created, because all of us here at MOPD work closely with our coworkers and our friends and our family members to ensure that we are creating a more inclusive and accessible Houston for all. On the screen, you see a photo of the MOPD team at one of our holiday lunches. Most of us are wearing holiday attire, and we are sitting and standing outside a patio at a restaurant here in Houston. Let me tell you a little bit about our information and referral service team. When I first became director, I wanted to be sure to be able to connect more people to resources in their communities. And so we went from a one person to a three-person case management team of dedicated professionals who work to connect people to resources in their communities. The team and I ensure that we are able to provide practical assistance so that people with disabilities have access to resources such as access to housing, access to financial institutions, access to transportation agencies, access to health and medical needs, access to legal assistance, access to employment and education, and also access to assistive devices and to technology. In the past 2 to 3 years, through case management, we went from serving only 5 to 10 people a month to 70 to 90 people a month. We also went from connecting people in the community at public engagement and presentations from 200 people to over 1,000 people a month. That is like, uh, don't quote me, I'm not a math genius, but that's like 200% increase in services. And so that's one of the things that I'm mostly proud of. On the screen, you see a photo of two of my staff members at a resource table, smiling, and both have one of their hands up doing the I love you sign in American Sign Language. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about our disability etiquette trainings. Several of us have learned, or have heard, better said, of disability and sensitivity trainings. Some of us have been in them, some of us have conducted those meetings. My team and I strongly believe that trainings as such really do help people be more accepting and inclusive of people living with disabilities. When I was doing these trainings, I learned so much from both internal and external organizations. In these trainings and these presentations, many of the participants and groups that I have interacted with have shared with me that they have learned to promote respect among their peers and their colleagues. They have also found ways to create a more inviting work environment and have created systems that allow people to fully participate in programs and services, like making their places more accessible. Often, non disabled individuals just don't understand people with disabilities. And so these trainings really do help folks think critically about disability, and it also helps them understand their own experiences and their relationships with others. This slide has an image of three people smiling right after a presentation. Proof that you are a happier person after a disability awareness training or presentation. Now, allow me to talk a little bit about our Sidewalk Improvement Program, also known as our Pedestrian Accessibility Review Program. Mobility means everything to people living with disabilities. But what use is being able to move if we aren't able to have access to facilities, right? Now, I won't take credit for this program because this has been operational since 1993 and hopefully will also be in place whenever I am gone doing the next thing in my life. The Pedestrian Accessibility Review Program is a system put in place to ensure that people with disabilities have access to their communities, access to places such as their college or university or medical facility, access to a bus stop or metro lift pickup location, also access to parks, gyms, recreation centers, or maybe somebody wants to get to their place of worship or their new job at their employment facility, or simply enough, people just want to have access to their home or to get to their vehicle. Whatever the need is, I and my team work closely with the Houston Public Works Department and the Planning Department to prioritize the repair and replacement of sidewalks and ramps in order to create a safe path of travel for not just people with disabilities, but for everyone. I and my team even go so far as to sit in meetings with the Public Works and the Planning Department to make recommendations and sidewalk modifications that don't meet the standard ADA requirements. These are sidewalks that are not up to ADA standards or don't meet those standards and often have no rights of way because they have ditches or obstacles such as fire hydrants, which we run into a lot, and or electrical poles and trees that don't allow for an ADA compliant sidewalk. And so my team and I work closely with these folks to ensure that we create as an accessible sidewalk as possible. One of my most favorite things and activities this past year has been our ADA self evaluation and transition plan. And I know that I've mentioned the ADA a lot here, but just for your knowledge, that stands for the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. Here at MOPD, we have been taking a closer look at all of our policies and practices. We developed and executed a citywide employee survey. And there's so much to the survey results, but what I can share for now is one thing that we learned that from those that participated in the survey, which is about 10% of the City of Houston workforce, that's roughly about 3,000 employees. About 60% of them did not know that the city had an ADA coordinator. And from those that did know about the ADA coordinator, about half of those folks did not know who the person's name was, which shows us that more communication is needed. We put together and kicked off a pilot study inventory collection to evaluate City of Houston buildings, public rights of way, and digital assets of the city. We are so excited to meet with city officials and leadership in the next couple of months to be able to share our findings and results in effort to create significant change here in the future. On this slide, we have two images of sidewalks. The top image shows a photo of a broken sidewalk and a curb. The bottom image is the same area taken with a newly constructed sidewalk and ramp from the description above, and now it includes an accessible right of way. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about our Houston Commission on Disabilities. In recognition of the fact that the needs and rights of people with disabilities are a vital concern to the city of Houston, the Houston Commission on Disabilities was created in 1993. This commission is a 14-member commission, and the commission members are appointed by the mayor. Remember the mayor's name? Yeah, Mayor John Whitmire. And the commission members are subject to city council confirmation, which means that once they're appointed by the mayor, the city council will confirm their appointment. Oftentimes, they go to a city council meeting and they go to the front and they're recognized for their leadership. And the director of the mayor's office for people with disabilities, that's me, Angel Ponce, and the city's Americans ADA coordinator are designated by the mayor to be non-voting ex-official members, which means that we're not able to vote on items, but we are there to listen and provide information to the commission as needed. The Houston Commission on Disability meets every second Thursday of the month between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. You may be asking yourselves, so what is the purpose of the commission? Well, the commission meets to help address issues and concerns that affect the disability community. The commission serves as an additional advocacy power for the Houston disability community. I work closely with the chair and the vice chair of the commission to keep the mayor, city council members, city department directors and managers, and private and public entities informed about community needs and to keep them accountable. And now, let me talk to you a little bit about our community partners. The work that I do and the work that my team does is almost too impossible to accomplish without the support of our partners. On the screen here, you can see a glimpse of the organizations that we work with. I share this because, like I mentioned before, alone we are able to get a lot done. But when you meet and build working relationships with other individuals and with other organizations, you quickly learn that so much more can be done as a collective. Some of the organizations me and my team work with are the Southwest ADA Center, the Houston Parks and Recreation Department, the Office of Emergency Management, Houston Public Works, the Houston Planning Department, the Department of Neighborhoods, the Houston Fire Department and the Police Department, Houston Metro, and universities like the University of Houston and colleges like Houston Community College and Lone Star College. Now, I wouldn't be who I am without providing you with a piece of communication and access to what we do. And so on the screen here, you see a QR code for our MOPD monthly newsletter. This is a way for you to keep informed and updated on what we are up to and what's coming up next. And so please, I'll take a quick pause for you to bring out your phone and follow this QR code. Sign up so that you can stay up to date as to what we are doing at MOPD. Okay, now I'm very excited to let you know about our ADA 35th anniversary celebration. As you know, on July 26th of 1990, this very important piece of legislation was signed into law. This law protects the rights and needs of people living with disabilities in employment, public accommodations, transportation, communications, and all of those things. And so, um, if you are interested in joining us in this celebration, we have partnered up with Houston Metro, the Southwest ADA Center, HEB, one of my favorite grocery stores, and Tier Memorial Herman Rehabilitation and Research to bring this event together. We will have a very special program with performers and presenters. We'll have live music. We'll have vendors there, individuals and organizations that serve the disability community. Um, did I mention free food? Because if I haven't, we will have free food. The event again is on Saturday, July the 26th between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. at the Metropolitan Multi-Service Center located at 1475 West Gray Street, Houston 77019. And remember, no RSVP is required. Just show up, book your trip, or tell your friend and family member, or take yourself out into your vehicle and arrive on time for a fantastic event. And with that, I'd like to leave you with some contact information. We have two locations, one downtown near City Hall at the Bob Lanier building located at 611 Walker Street. You can send us an email at mopdmail@houstontx.gov or call us at 832-394-0814. We also have a satellite office at the Metropolitan Multi-Service Center located at 1475 West Gray. And with that, I conclude my presentation. I hope you enjoyed me today. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Good luck with the rest of your day. Thank you.